the music, dude. Oh,
it's growing on me. I think.
Is that what it is? It's growing on you.
I think it. Yeah,
it's the growing.
It's growing.
Growing and not showing at SoCal Saturdays, hanging out with you on the Horse Racing Happy Hour. We're presented by amwager.com. New customers, go get a 100% deposit match up to $150 right now with our friends at Amwager at amwager.com. We are on the Sporting Tribune site. We are on the Horse Racing Happy Hour platform. You can find us here every Friday, 2 o'clock. Barry, how are you, man? We're watching. I know you're like me. I've got a screen right back here watching basketball. So if everybody sees my eyes doing this, we're not going to not talk about the St. Louis Ray, but of course, got to watch the hoops around here as well. Barry, man, you doing all right?
Yeah, doing great. Weather's getting better or great. And there's hoops real. On, and there's horses. And, as a fan of a lot of things, this is the best time.
It's a good time of year. It is. It's a great time of year for those of us here in the Bluegrass, especially our local teams, both in the tournament. Louisville winning yesterday. Close game there for Kentucky right now against the feisty Broncos team there from Santa Clara out in California, where you and I just were, and where you and I will be handicapping the races. If you're new to the program, we go through the full card in Southern California every week right at this time. On Saturdays, of course, a pair of stakes tomorrow. The Irish O'Brien down the hill for the Calbreds there. And then in race 9, the San Luis Rey as well. Barry and I will give out Turf Pick 3 tickets toward the end of the show so that you can have something to bet on out at Santa Anita Park. Maybe watch alongside of us, make fun of Barry when his bet ends up missing. But we'll start with race 1. That was very nice of me. We started a mile and an eighth on the turf. How about that, Barry? We're going a little bit longer than usual. Usually find ourselves at a mile on the turf to open the card, but we'll go a mile and an eighth here, which I am certainly not mad about. It is on the filly and a mare side, on the filly side, 3-year-olds here. Mile and an eighth on the turf, Barry, 70,000 on the line in a maiden special weight. And boy, 6 horses in here, but boy, I think you can make a real case for about 4 or 5 of them.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think one of these connections must have been begging the racing office to card a race like this. I just got to figure out who it was.
Oh, man. All right. So who'd you lay it on in race 1, Barry?
So in race 1, I thought this race was kind of straightforward. I thought Daria is the horse to beat, but I went to the 3, Tip Tap. That race against Surf Song was pretty good. This horse went head and head with Bint Al Dandy, who was a horse that came from overseas, ran at Saratoga a few times, and just can't get over the hump and win. But that horse is pretty fast. And this horse went head and head with that one pretty much all the way around the track up until the end where they faded late. It was the first start. I think, the McCarthy barn does really well second time out. And this horse might be the speed. And if they get in front of Photogenic, they might just control this pace and win this race. If not, I feel like they can sit right on the pace, stalk and pounce and get it done that way. So the versatility, I think, is there. And we're going with Tip Tap at 9-2 on top.
To the hoop, as the kids say. I do wonder, Barry, with the opening fractions in that last race, the 23 flat, the 47 flat, you're gonna have to do that even at a mile and an eighth in a maiden race at Santa Anita. And so I think that experience does speak well for the 3 horse. You and I, same 3 horses, just a slightly different order. You said it to open your handicapping, Daria, probably the one to beat. I agree with you, probably the one to beat here. The second timer in North America, we saw this one in Ireland before coming over from Dundalk. Finish a good third going left-handed, gets back out there going a mile flat ground here, not on the synthetic, tries turf for the first time. She puts up a really good show under Tiago Pereira. I think is the likely favorite here. And if you were looking to get real skinny in the early sequence, Barry, I think you would lean on the 6 here to go into your pick 5, something like that. Barry, as we move through the card, and I did this yesterday with our guy Johnny P, with whom you went to the Wood Memorial last year. How about that? All the things to say out loud. We attended the Wood Memorial with Johnny P. How about that? But no, I was talking with him yesterday. We did the Laurel card yesterday in the late sequence. A lot of 6 horse fields, 7 horse, 8 horse fields. How do you maximize value there? Well, the good news is both in California and in Maryland especially, 12% on those takeout on those pick 5s. Pressure things. So 2 parts. Look for those takeout rates. And the second part is raise your base minimum. Don't just play for 50 cents here. If you got an opinion, go play for $1. Even in the pick 5, go ahead and push it as much as you possibly can with your bankroll. And Barry, this is one of those spots. I think if you're going to try the pick, try the pick 5 here, go ahead and lean on the 6. But the other part is this: early pick 5 in California, 14% takeout. So this is your opportunity, is to go ahead and play this early part of the sequence, Barry. In race 1, how many would you include in that early pick 5?
I would just use the top 2 there, the
Okay.
3 and the 6.
Perfect. All right. Again, Barry 3, 6, and 2 there. I am 6, 3, and 2 in the first race. Move on to race 2 here. Start of the early pick 4. A maiden 20 awaits bettors there. This is SoCal Saturdays on the Horse Racing Happy Hour Podcast Network. He's Barry Spears, and I'm Louie Barry. Thanks for hanging out with us and with the good folks at Amwager at amwager.com. We're going a mile on the dirt here. $20,000 is the claim price. $21,000 in the purse here, Barry. Even number races on the show means I go first, and so 5, 4, and 2 for me in this spot. Using the second favorite on top, and I'm not being too terribly creative here, but this is one that I thought coming off the turf here made a lot of sense, making the switch back to dirt. Son of Authentic. So I do think getting back to the dirt makes sense. Empire Maker on the damn side, so I at least want the 2 turns in the mile here. Kyle Frey has not ridden this one before, but Giroux decided to get the lead in a mile and an eighth turf race last out. I wonder if they won't try to rate a little bit more here. But boy, this is one that doesn't mind being right on the front. But if we go back to a mile on the turf at Santa Anita in October, this is one that sat just off of it and just didn't quite have enough. I think the $20,000 is the right kind of class relief for this one. So I'll put the 5 on top here. Barry, I'm going to stop talking, though, because you have the same 3 horses.
Yeah.
What do you like about the 4 horse here? Or do you have anything to add about the 5 horse here?
Well, I think the 5 actually is the speed. I don't think Redial, who, if you look at the 4 races that horse has run, has been off slowly every time. And I don't think that trend is about to not continue. And Lorenzo Bernini looks to be the horse that breaks well and will get the lead, control his pace, and probably win this easy. Bossing Mo, the 4 horse, I guess the drop in class last time, along with the stretch out, there was a little bit of an improvement. And there is a possibility that they will try to get the same trip the 2 will try to get, and just chose a bigger price.
5, 4, and 2 for you. The 2 horse as well for me in the 3rd spot here, Barry, is the favorite in Redial. I will give my reason for leaving this one out. It's just, this one, huge layoff. I don't know what we're going to get this, back in form here, but I'll go ahead. I'll just put the horse 3rd, Barry, until I see it do what it did last time again, right? Like, go ahead and repeat that performance for me, and then I'll buy it.
Yeah. That's very fair. If you look at the 5 Lorenzo Bernini's races, the body of work has just been faster,
way better
for the most part. Redial had that last race on the drop that was good, that probably stands out, but not consistent enough. We need to see more of that.
Race 3 here on the card is on the dirt as well. It's a mile again, but it's a state bred optional claimer, $20,000 to claim a horse here, $70,000 purse. This is a non-2 lifer event. And Barry, going a mile on the dirt here, refocus 2-1 in the 2 hole here. I know you're going to try to beat that one.
Yeah, absolutely. Another dead closer in a race that lacks speed. I ended up going to the 4, I don't know if it's Mises or Mickey's Express. I thought this horse kind of has a little bit of an edge here, basically because I'm under the impression that this pace might get a little hot up front, a little bit, and I'm not really sure how far Coach Cronin really wants to go. They've been a steady diet of 6-7 furlong races, and those 7 furlong races, this horse is kind of not finishing all that great. I know they won the 32,000 Open back at Los Al, but that field is just not this caliber. These horses are a little bit better than those, so I'm not really sure. But Mickey's Express, their races have been kind of more consistent at a higher level. They drop down to this level after a run. I think they're going to be loaded, ready to go with a good trip here behind Coach Cronin.
Interesting one for sure. Barry's going to go 4-3-2. I will go 3-1-2 in this spot. So similar handicapping to Barry. I got the 3 on top here, Barry, just because Coach Cronin, I'm leaning on that form from last time. And essentially what I'm banking on here is that he's just going to go get a lead, and it might be kind of loose and he just runs away with it. And that's really what I'm banking on here with Coach Cronin. So I'll go 3-1-2 here. I also think the rail horse is an interesting one. in the Gypsy Cowboy. Does have 2 wins at the distance and 4 times in the trifecta, over 12 runs at a mile. Has won at Santa Anita before. 3rd place finish last out in these conditions, essentially, behind Whiskey Gin and Brandy, who you and I actually think is a pretty nice horse. And so maybe this is the spot where this 4-year-old can get back on the winning side of things. So 3, 1, and 2 for me here in this spot. Move on to race 4, continuing on with SoCal Saturdays. Race 4 is on the dirt as well. Maiden 32 here. It's the highest level of maiden that isn't a $50,000 maiden there in California. 6 furlongs on the dirt, $26,000 purse, Barry. 3-year-olds in this spot. And so I'll go first in race 4 here. I landed on the 5. And by the way, in my notes, Barry, I have all leg. And so this is one where I think you can make a case literally for all but one horse in this field. I'll go to Texas Wildcat. I thought his last 2 efforts were both ones that could win in this company, Barry. Both at the maiden 32 level, 1 at 5.5, 1 at 6. We're going 6 here. I think it makes a lot of sense for this horse. I think last time he got pushed outside pretty far. If you remember that race back in February, he got pushed outside a little bit in that previous race. And I'm wondering if just a slightly better start here, like he got 2 back, he'll be way closer. I think if he is closer in this group that he does get it done. So again, 5, 6, and 1 for me. Charlie Dioro is one. This is why it's an all leg for me, Barry, because I see the world in which this horse gets it done. Comes out of a maiden 12 of all things at Los Al going 1,000 yards. But that was in mixed company. This is a son of Charlatan of all things. A 3-year-old. He's only gone that 1 race. I get him a second time here, Barry. Why not? Why not? 3-year-old should I think improve off of that race at Los Al, and frankly, maybe just the full turn. We find out that he loves getting on the lead like that, and so I'll go 5, 6, and 1 in here, and you've got the 1 on top.
Yeah, I took the horse that really doesn't have knocks on him yet, Tess of Hemet, and I'm not really crazy about the post position, but I'm not really crazy about a lot of these horses in this race.
Fair enough.
So it's a small enough field where a horse like the 1 can get a good trip, because they're not going to be on the engine, I don't believe, but getting good position is probably where it's at. The 2 outside horses, the 5 and the 6, look to be the speed balls in here. And you might want to throw in the 3, Sophie's Heart. If that happens, they'll be lining up. The 1, 2, and the 4 should be lining up to try to get their spot to make that run. There's really not much to glean on a horse like Tess of Hemet, but the trainer does okay with first-time starters, and this is a kind of race that they could pick off with a horse that may not be the best in this race, and they could fall into a good trip and win it, hopefully.
Tess of Hemet, trained by Hector Opalma. Only 2 wins and 25 starts, but 5 second-place finishes amongst those starters as well. So maybe Saturday is the day that he starts to break through on that end. Again, in race 4, Barry is 1, 4, and 2. This is an all-ish leg for me. 5, 6, and 1 for me here.
Yeah, that's pretty fair. As an all leg, because
it just is, yeah,
right, because if somebody catches a flyer and gets out in front of this field, they could easily control the pace and win this race. So and honestly, any one of these horses could do that.
No, that's exactly right. There's a world in my mind, Barry, that in these back-to-back races, race 3 and race 4, someone just gets the lead and is gone. I think in these two legs of this early pick 5, you could definitely run into that sort of thing. With Barry Spears, I'm Louie Barry. This is SoCal Saturdays on the Horse Racing Happy Hour Network. We're going to go to race 5 now, and this starts the all-turf pick 3 and the late pick 5 there at Santa Anita Park on Saturday. Barry and I will give our all-turf pick 3 picks later. Barry will make fun of me for mine. Kentucky just tied it up 70-70, and then Santa Clara went down and drilled a 3 from like 30 feet.
Bang!
But then Ortega Owe just made a 32-foot jumper to tie the game 73-73. We are looking at overtime
Broncos
in St. Louis. First round matchups, dog. It's been so fantastic. We're back. Oh, I love it. This tournament, man. Let's go.
Broncos.
Race time starts at all turf pick 3, which means the race is in fact on the turf. A mile there. $16,000 starter allowance here, Barry. $29,000 purse. I thought this was a fun field. Where'd you land?
I landed on the 5. Thirsty Trickster. I don't know about that, but there seems to be a lack of speed
I
in this
don't
race.
know about that. I don't even know what that
There's
means.
not really much speed in this race.
Okay.
And I think Thirsty Trickster, especially positioned on the outside, can get a good run at this. I think they're a little bit faster than the 6 Catalina Cocktail.
Okay.
And that might put them in prime position to pounce on the leaders here, who I think might be the 2. There's a Silver Lining and maybe throw in the 3 Moonlit Courage. But I'm not really too fond of the 1 too much, who probably will take a lot of action because of the fact that Juan Hernandez lands here. But that horse seems to be very slow early and doesn't really get the job done. They like to finish second and third an awful lot, and that's where I put them for actually third. But I think Thirsty Trickster is the goods, has the speed to win this race, and just needs the trip.
Agree with you on the 1 and the 5. I've got the 6 on top, though. You called her slow. I'm going to try our Catalina Cocktail, daughter Catalina Cruiser, of course. This is one that started its career in Southern California in the Tim McMahon barn, and in Northern California, made the move to Southern California and needed kind of a refresh at the lower level there at Turf Paradise. So I think makes sense getting back into this kind of spot. Bart Hone did the work there at Turf Paradise. John Sadler gets this one now in the barn for the Mendel folks. And I do wonder if this isn't where this horse needs to be. This one makes a lot of sense to me. You can tell, Barry, I think, too, that he's looked at the running style of this horse and kind of wants to get back to more of what he saw 2 back and 3 back from this horse, where it's more forwardly placed, because those works are pretty sharp on the Tapeta there at Santa Anita Park. And so I'm wondering if he's not trying to get her a little bit faster and a little bit closer. In other words, he agrees with you. And so that horse needs to be a little bit closer to the pace. I'll trust that she will be. Again, I went to the 1 horse on the rail inside. She's splendid. Juan Hernandez gets the mount here. This is one that looked good at the optional 32 level, gets to be in the optional, the 16 level here. And so I just think the class relief makes a lot of sense. Under Abeliscano last time, I think the move to Juan is a big step up as well. And so again, 6, 1, and 5 for me. Barry already told you all the good things about the 5 horse in race 5. Who you got in OT, Barry? Kentucky or Santa Clara?
Santa Clara Broncos. Come on, man.
Come on, man. Dog. But yes, Otega Owe 29 points in the game. Kentucky finally getting major contributions from its very best players. There. Late pick 4 starts race 6 here on SoCal Saturdays. We're talking about Santa Anita Saturday. He's Barry. I'm Louie. Thanks for hanging out with us. We're presented by Amwager, Maiden 50. 6 furlongs on the dirt here. $35,000 in the kitty, Barry. Even number race means Louie gets to go first. I went 2, 5, and 3 here. Lindy's Dream, 9 to 5 on the morning line, drops out of Maiden Special Company into 50 here. I think that kind of move makes a lot of sense. Armando Ayuso keeps the mount here. Simply put, this horse was part of the equation until very, very late. And when the horse got pressed on the outside, it kind of gave up. And I didn't love that last time, but I'm trusting that Armando can get this horse back into the race and effective much, much earlier in this race, at least. The 5 horse is Mettler, is the first timer in here. Andy Mathis, first time in a maiden claimer for whatever reason. This is what he does. And so here we are. Jaramillo gets them out as well, which I really like. This horse has been working okay. But what's funny, Barry, is all of his best, fastest workouts are from the gate, right? And guess what? All races are from the gate. So it's good news for me in this case. In case anyone was wondering, that's how they work. They don't hold up the string anymore like they used to, Barry. Should we go back to the string? I don't think we should. All right. And then you know what would say? You know what would bring new people to the game? Get rid of the starting gates and bring back the string. That's what we need. It's as good an idea as whatever everyone else has come up with. And then I went to the 3 horse here on the outside, but we will get to him later. Barry, where'd you land in race 6?
In race 6, I landed on the 7, Dustum 2. I really thought that this horse really got compromised at the start. Tim Yakteen's horses definitely do a lot better second time out. Okay. But I found it interesting that he stepped this horse up from a $20,000 state bred filly event to a $50,000 on the second start after that slow start. A couple of workouts since, kind of moving in the right direction in hooks of field that is a little bit light on experience. And I think that might make all of the difference here is that one run. That's really why I picked this horse over Mettler. Metler obviously has all the signs, a good trainer first time out. Although the barn is kind of cold right now, that's kind of why I went to Dustin too. 8-1's fair price. Tim Yaktine, in my estimation, is the Rodney Dangerfield of trainers out in LA. Gets no respect, but is very, very good.
There you go. I like that. A little Rodney Dangerfield reference on the show. 7-5-3, 2-5-3 for us in race
Thornton
6.
Mellon. Yeah, it's my guy.
Random, like good Simpsons reference is the Rodney Dangerfield episode where he burns his son and he spells Yale with a 6. All of it is very good. It's very fantastic. Barry and I have never talked Simpsons, even though we both have that in common as a thing that we think is funny. Like you and I, we've never talked about the Simpsons. We've never talked about it. But there you go. We'll move on to the late pick 3. It is the middle part of the turf pick 3 as well, and it is the Irish O'Brien. We're going down the hill, even though they didn't do that in front of Barry. They will do it on Saturday. It's $100,000. It's for Calbreds, and it's for fillies and mares 4 and up. Grand Slam Smile is in here. She has 4 wins on the turf, and 2 of those are down the hill, Barry. She's very close to the Buena Vista last out, too. How do we beat her?
It's going to be tough. But, I hate the rail post downhill 6.5. It is just not a great place to be. I know Grand Slam's Smile probably towers over this field and probably will win this race despite the post, because there's not really a lot of horses here where they can get situated. But I don't, I wouldn't take that 6-5. I know that.
Right. No, right. On a win bet for sure. Yes. Right. I get it.
Yeah. So, I mean, there are alternatives, like take another card who's been competitive with Grand Slam Smile recently, actually back in January, just missed. And if things kind of work out and let's say Prancing Through Paris kind of controls the pace here and goes heads up with Grand Slam Smile, which kind of seems unlikely, but it's certainly possible because Juan Hernandez understands pace.
Right. Yes.
It could set up for a horse like Take Another Card, but it's real tough to get around the 1 in this spot for sure.
I agree with you. 1, 4, and 6 for you. 1, 5, and 6 for me. I'll talk about the 5 Prancing Through Paris is the 1-1 or 5-2, excuse me. And as you mentioned, is coming out of a not so great showing down the hill, but this is one that Juan Hernandez, like you just said, is going to be able to control the pace. And this is one that won this race last year, right? In the 5 horse. And so if that's going to be, if we're going to get any kind of return to form down the hill, maybe that's the spot. To be fair to this one, finished 3rd behind Grand Slam Smile. Best horse in this field. So I might be just a straight up 1-5. I'd move on with my life for that one. But that is the middle part of the all turf pick 3. We'll get to those picks later in the program. Race 8 is back on the dirt. $32,000 optional here. $37,000 per 6 furlongs on the dirt. And this is for 4 and up non. How many lifers here? Non-winners of this, and this. Okay, not really those kinds of conditions. I went 1, 5, and 6 last race. I will go 1, 4, and 6 in this race. You and I landed on the same longer shot here, Barry. Ballady will break from the inside. Armando Ayuso gets the mount. I'm interested that you landed on this one in this spot, but I essentially am looking at a couple of different races. There's a race at 7 furlongs at Los Al at the 32 level. This horse ran really well in and then came back immediately after that. They stepped this one into 80 competition. And yes, the horse ran 4th, but that was a really good 7 furlong Midnight Mammoth was in that race. We're talking about stakes horses. And so I think this one has been running in very, very good company, trying to come up from off the pace at Los Al. That ain't happening. And so, that's a sort of thing too back. Was at the 50 level last time. I just didn't fire. I love the move back to Armando, who was aboard in that race at Los Al. I think Ballady makes a lot of sense here. And obviously you agree.
Yeah. I mean, I'll go back to that race they ran against Coach Cronin where they didn't have a shot because Coach Cronin was just faster. And it was kind of a merry-go-round race. But this horse did finish, kind of clear of everybody else. And I think that bodes well in a race like this where a lot of these horses are really facing lesser and there's a lot of speed. So the 6, the favorite in Bagnick has to go.
Right.
Hard to figure, probably has to go. And Code Duello is definitely going. And that just sets it up for a horse like Ballady to kind of slip in there and get a good trip.
Yep.
Thought the two Chasing Money was very interesting, especially at a big price. Another closer that has the numbers. 21 seems like really, really high. I don't think that's going to be the price at post time, but definitely going to be most likely the longest shot on the board, though.
83.79 Kentucky, 49 seconds left in overtime. Not good for my bracket, not good for Barry's.
No, we're good. I didn't have Kentucky going anywhere.
No, I was going to say I have Iowa State stomping on either of these teams in the next round. Barry goes 1-6-2. I went 1-4-6. I'll talk about the 4-horse in this spot. By the way, I agree with you and Bognick. He's just going to have to go. And Barry, look, if he runs his race, he wins. It's okay. It's all right. The 6-horse wins here if he runs this race. I get it. When's he going to do it? Right, like we'll put up and shut up for him. I think at this point in his career, I'll put the 4 ahead of him in Hawker. Part of this is a Jaramillo play. This is a horse that needed some time off after a long campaign from May until January, and so this one's going to get some time off. Andy Math is bringing this one back. Has won, how about this? 5 of his last 15 starts with horses off this kind of layoff. 20% on the dirt recently. With a big number. Give me Miguel Jaramillo in this spot. I think he makes a lot of sense. If we get back to that form we saw at Del Mar in a 25 claimer, I think he makes a ton of sense here. This is a horse that's 1 on dirt, 1 on turf. If he's ready, if he's gaming like Andy Mathis usually has them off the layoff, is going to be in the money for sure on a Saturday. Race 9 closes the card. And so if you are looking to close the card, I have great news. We're going to talk about it right now. Race 9 is the grade 3. San Louis Ray closes out that turf. Pick 3 also closes out the entirety of the card. 1.5 miles. If you're new to 1.5 mile races at San Diego Park, they actually start on the curved part of the downhill turf course toward the bottom of the hill there. But the horses do get a little bit of a downhill start for the 1.5 mile races there. 2 turns after that, $100,000 on the line here. 4 and up, Barry. Interesting horses in here. We get Gold Phoenix, who's been spectacular in the races where he's been spectacular. We get a horse like Balnikov, who we all just kind of can't figure out the true qualities in here. He had a win last year. Flashiest hasn't won in a couple of years. Feels like a pretty wide open race, my friend.
Yeah. Gold Phoenix, I'm kind of cold on. I just don't appreciate horses enough that close from way back like that. I just can't bring myself to playing them on top at short prices. And this is another time that Gold Phoenix is going to be that. Not to mention the last time in the San Marcos, this horse ran a sub 90 buyer, first time in a long time. And I don't know. I just don't think this horse is trending in the right direction. 8-year-old, you figure this horse is going to slow down from this sort of level eventually. Maybe Saturday's it. With that being said, the second choice, Truly Quality, to me looks really good to be able to pick up those pieces. Gets into the races a little bit sooner than Gold Phoenix does, and I think that might make the difference here. There is some speed. It should be a pretty honest pace. And I think the closers are going to finish, and I think Truly Quality is probably the second best closer. I think Gold Phoenix is actually the best closer in this race, but I think Truly Quality is coming in this race better. Same thing with Flashiest, who is constantly disrespected on the tote board, but
it's amazing, actually. Yes.
And runs bang up races all the time against, kind of outruns his odds quite a bit. I know he's getting long in the tooth as well as he's an 8-year-old, but still running hard. As San Marcos was very, very good from an outside post, gets better relief here, starting from the inside. I think that might help him.
Totally agree. 2, 1, and 4 for Barry here in race 9. So again, for him, Truly Quality, Flashiest, and then the 4-horse Gold Phoenix, who we're both hoping shows up in this one, finished 3rd in this race last year. We do have some alums of this race from last year, the San Marcos winner from a couple of years ago as well. But yeah, I'm with you. I'm going to put something on the screen that I've never put on the screen, which is 5 numbers. And not
pearl clutching over here.
Yeah, a little pearl clutching. But I think that one horse, once in a while we see horses, it's rare, Barry, in 2026. Horses that get to their 8-year-old year, and this is when they're running the best. I remember a couple of years ago, Barry, and it happened here in Kentucky. you remember Tom's D'Etat?
Oh yeah.
Started picking off graded stakes. I think he was like 8 or 9 when he started picking off graded stakes. And I get some of the feeling of Tom's D'Etat with Flashiest. I want to be really clear. I do not anticipate a world in which Flashiest wins the Breeders' Cup Turf this year or something. I'm not doing that. But it has that kind of feeling to it where this horse is going to start picking off a lot of checks. And if you leave this horse out of your exacta trifecta kind of play in any turf race out west, you're an idiot. I mean, it's essentially where this horse has gotten to in his career. I'm going to include all 5 of these in my turf pick 3, which is why they're all on the screen, because I want to be very clear that all of these are going to be part of that. And essentially, I'm hoping that like a Mondigo comes through, right, who won the San Marcos last time under MSL Jaramillo. And that's one, by the way, with Mondigo, for example, the 5. Barry, why not? Why not just go try to get the lead here and just see what happens in this field if those deep closers that, we keep talking about don't have it in them that day? MSL Jaramillo might just walk away with this thing. And so I'm not so – I mean, is there a world in which Mondigo wins this race, Barry?
Yeah, certainly. Just like you said, they got to go. I mean, That's the only way I think they can win this race because they're not out finishing either of the favorites here. So, there's definitely scenarios where Mondigo just kind of gets a good ride up front from Jaramillo and takes it.
Oh, there you go. All right, so let's put together our own turf pick 3 tickets. Barry, go ahead and walk people through yours. Barry's turf. I totally forgot to put these together. Even though I asked you to freaking do it. Barry's turf pick 3, and your ticket's $36. Is that right, friend?
$36. Yeah, we're going to use 2 horses in the first leg. We're going to use the 2.
You can look at the screen. I got it up there. How about that?
There's a Silver Lining and the 5 Thirsty Trickster. Basically, the 2 horses I picked on top in that race anyway. I'm really not fond of the 1, so we're going to eliminate that one, and that's the morning line favorite. So we're going to try to get away from that horse. Then in race 7, we're going to use Grand Slam Smile reluctantly. Take another card, and we're gonna throw in the wild card, the 6 Miss Practical. I just don't like the 1 post at this trip, and if anything's weird is gonna happen, it might be in this race because people are just gonna go overboard on Grand Slam Smile anyway. So if we can get the 4, the 6, that's great, but we'll take the 1, especially getting around the favorite in the first leg. Then in the 9th, we're going to use 2 horses, the 1 and the 2, Flashiest, who we just rant and raved about, both of us. I think that horse has a really good shot and probably will be a good price. And then Truly Quality, who's the second choice here, just trying to get around Gold Phoenix, who will take a ton of action. And myself, personally, I like to concede low payouts. So we eliminate the chalk.
For just $9 more, you can play my ticket. 156.
I'll keep that $9 and play it on Flashiest to win.
Kentucky wins 84 there in St. Louis. Barry's bracket completely busted. He had Santa Clara winning it all. Go Broncos. He's just rooting for horses now. But I went 156 in the first leg. Pretty different than Barry, frankly, in the first leg. Second leg, I'm going to single down the hill. Cross my fingers that we've got a Calbred that just wants to win all the Calbred races. And then in the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but hate to miss out on Gold Phoenix because, Barry, I'll be honest with you, I'll take the $120 payout. I know you won't, but if I miss out on the $1,000 on my Deagle, I'll feel pretty stupid.
That's zealous. 120. If you get 120 out of that chalk, you're doing something. Because I don't think that's going to happen.
$3.
You might not get your money back if it comes chalky.
Good to do it. Over 400,000 in the pool last year. How about that? By the way, new record. We go out there for one weekend. The weekend after, they have a new record in the turf pick 3. You're welcome. You're welcome, Sanity. You're welcome.
Yeah.
You're welcome. Yeah.
That's why they didn't have the downhill. They wanted us to come back. Right?
Is that what it is? Oh, man. All right. Well, good enough. That wraps up this edition of SoCal Saturdays. Who did you have in your bracket winning all? I went Arizona. Where'd you?
Arizona, of course.
You too? Okay. Right.
Yes.
The
best team. Best team in the tournament.
Then we mean like to the hoop.
Yeah, Duncanstein. My daughter looks at me sideways when I say that.
Duncanstein?
Yeah.
Why?
Because
it's a legend around here, dog.
It's not the cool kids saying, I'm not cool anymore.
That guy pays for nothing in this town. Just nothing.
He shouldn't.
He should never pay for anything, and he doesn't. I promise you.
He shouldn't.
I watched somebody one time pay for his gas at a gas station.
Wow, that's.
I just walked in
fantastic.
like, no, sir. They like swiped the card.
That's better than honestly. That at this point, that's better than a free meal, man.
That's goated, dude. I'm telling you.
Yeah,
it's goated for sure. He's Barry. I'm Louie. Good luck with everything. I'm back tomorrow, 11 a.m. You'll see this guy too. That way. That
yeah.
As part of our Turfway Park Jeff Ruby preview, we were at the San Felipe. We'll be at the Ruby tomorrow. Me, Sean Collins, 11 o'clock. Barry will jump on with us. Barry will jump on with us tomorrow as well here on the program. For Barry, I'm Louie. We'll see you tomorrow morning, 11 o'clock Eastern on the Horse Racing Happy.